All right, hello, welcome back, everyone. This is part 9 already. I know we're going to blow through this book because it's kind of easy. This is The Garden of Eros, Wilde Reading Gal, part 9. You may hate my voice, but it'll work. I'm not very good at reading poems aloud. It is full summer now, the heart of June. Not yet the sunburnt reapers are astir upon the upland meadow where too soon rich autumn time, the season's usherer, will lead his hoarded gold to all the trees and see his treasure scattered by the wild and spendthrift breeze. Too soon, indeed, yet there are daffodil, that love child of spring, has lingered on to vex the rose with jealousy, and still the harebell spreads her azure pavilion, and like a strayed and wandering reveler, abandoned of its brothers, whom long since June's messenger, the missile thrush has frightened from the glade. One pale narcissus loiters fearfully, close to a shadowy nook where half afraid of their own loveliness, some violets lie that will not look the gold sun in the face for fear of too much splendor. Ah, methinks there's a place, weird methinks, which should be trodden by Persephone when wearied of flowerless fields of or danced on by ladies of Arcady, lads of Arcady. The hidden secret of eternal bliss, known to the Grecian here, a man might find. Ah, you and I may find it now, if love and sleep be kind. There are flowers which morning Heralax strewed on the tomb of Hylas Columbine, its white doves all aflutter where the breeze kissed them too harshly, the small celandine, that yellow-kirted cloisterer of Eve, and lilac lady's smock, but let them bloom alone and leave. Yon spired hollyhock red crocketed to spay its silent chimes, else must the bee its little bell ringer go seek instead some other pleasurance, the anemone that weeps at daybreak like a silly girl before her love hardly lets the butterflies unfurl their painted wings beside it bid it pine. In pale virginity, the winter snow, will suit it better than those lips of vine, whose fires should but scorch it. Rather go and pluck that amorous flower which blossoms alone, fed by the pander wind with dust of kisses not its own. The trumpet of red carnivalus, so dear to maidens, creamy meadow sweet, whiter than Juno's throat and odorous, all as Arabia, hyacinthus, the feet of huntress Dian would be loth to mar, for any dappled fawn pluck these and those fond flowers which are fairer than what Queen Venus trod upon beneath the pines of Ida Eucharis. That morning star which does not dread the sun, and budding marjoram which but to kiss would sweeten Cytherea's lips and make Adonis jealous. These for thy head and for thy girdle take. Yon curving spray of purple clematis, whose gorgeous dye outflames the Tyrian king, and fox gloves with their nodding chalices, but that one narcissus which startled spring, let from her kirtle fall when first she heard in her own woods the wild tempestuous song of the summer's bird. This is going to be a really long one. Ah, leave it for a subtle memory of those sweet, tremulous days of rain and sun, when April laughed between her tears to see the early primrose with shy footsteps run from the gnarled oak tree roots of all the world. Spite of its brown trampled leaves grew bright with shimmering gold. That was not world, it was till all the wold. Nay, pluck it too, it is not half so sweet as thou thyself, my soul's idolarity. And when thou art awearied and at thy feet, shall ox lips weave their brightest tapestry. For thee woodbine shall forget, for thee the woodbine shall forget its pride, and veil its tangled whirls, and thou shalt walk on daisies pied. And I will cut the reed by yonder spring, and make the wood gods jealous of old Pan. Wonder what young intruder dares to sing in these still haunts where never foot of man should tread at evening, lest chance to spy the marble limbs of Artemis and all her company. And I will tell thee why thy jacinth wears such dread embroidery for dolorous moan, and why the hapless nightingale forbears to sing at her song at the moon she weeps alone. When the fleet swallow sleeps and rich men feast, and why the laurel trembles when she sees the lightning east. I will sing how sad Proserpina unto a grave and gloomy lord has wed, and lure that silver-breasted Helena back from the lotus meadows of the dead. So shall thou see that awful loveliness for which two mighty hosts met fearfully in war's abyss. And then I'll pipe to thee that Grecian tale of how Cynthia loves the lad Edemion, and hidden in a gray and misty veil, hies to the cliffs of Latmos once the sun leaps from his ocean bed in fruitless chase of those pale flying feet which fade away in embrace. This is going to be a long one. I just looked. There's like 5 pages left. And I'm probably not going to make a part 2, so you're just going to have to listen to the whole thing. And if my flute can breathe sweet melody, we may behold her face, long ago dwelt among by the Aegean Sea. 1 sec, let me redo that. And if my flute can breathe a sweet melody, we may behold her face who long ago, sorry, dwelt among men by the Aegean Sea, and whose sad house with pillaged portico and friezeless wall and columns toppled down looms o'er the ruins that fair and violet circumfered town. Spirit of beauty, tarry a while. They are not dead, thine ancient voyageurs. Some few there are to whom thy radiant smile is better than 1,000 victories. Though all the nobly slain of Waterloo rise up in wrath against them, tarry still there are a few who forsake thy would give their manlyhood and consecrate their being. I at least have done so. May thy lips my daily food, and in thy temples found the goodlier feast than his starved age can give me, spite of all its new-founded creeds so skeptical and dogmatical. Here not Cephasus, not Ilissus flows. The woods of white Colonus are not here. On our bleak hills that olive never blows. No simple priest conducts this flowing steer up the steep marble way, nor through the town do laughing maidens bear to thee the crocus-flowered gown. Yet tarry for the boy who loved thee best, whose very name should be a memory to make thee linger, sleeps in silent rest. Beneath the Roman walls a melody still mourns, her sweetest lyre none can play, a lute of Adonius with the lips song passed away. Nay, when Keats died, the musses still had left one sliver voice to sing his threnody. But too soon of it we were bereft. When on that riven night and stormy sea, Panthera claimed her singer as her own, and slew the mouth that praised her, since which time we walk alone. Save for that fiery heart and that morning star, we Arsian England, who clear eye saw from our tottering throne and waste of war the grand Greek limbs of young democracy rise hightily like Hesperus, and bring the great republic him at least thy love hath taught to sing. And he hath been with thee Thessaly, and seen white Atlantia fleet on foot, the passionless and fierce virginity, hunting the tusked boar and hoined lute, hath pierced the cavern of the hollow hill, and Venus laughs to know one knee will bow before her still, and hath kissed the lips of Proserpine, and sung the Galilean's requiem, that wounded forehead dashed with blood and wine. He hath discrowned the ancient gods in him, the ancient gods in him have found their last, and most ardent worshipper, and the new sign grows gray and dim before its conqueror. I got some drainage. Spirit of beauty, tarry with us still. It has not quenched the torch of poesy. The star that shook above the eastern hill holds thy unassailed in its argent armory. From all the gathering gloom and frightful fight, O tarry with us still, for though long and common night. Morris, our sweet and simple Chaucer's child, dear heritor of Spenser's tuneful reed, with soft sylvan pipe, has oft begilded the weary soul of a man in tremulous need, and from the far flowerless fields of the ice hath brought fair flowers to meet and make an earthly paradise. Sorry, I'm getting all stuttery. We know them all. Gudrun, the strong men's bride, Aslung and Olafson, we know them all. How giant Grettir fought and Sigurd died, and what enchantment held the king in thrall, when lonely Bernhild wrestled with the powers that war against all passion. Ah, how oft through summer hours, long listless summer hours, when the noon, being enamored from a damask rose, forgets to journey westward till the moon, the pale usurper of its tribute grows for a thin sickle of silver shield, and chides its loitering car, how oft in some cool grassy field. Far from the cricket ground, noisy ate, at Bagley where the rustling bluebells come, almost before the blackbird finds a mate, and overstay the swallow, and the hum of how many murmuring bees flits through the leaves. I have lain poring on the dreamy tales and his fancy weaves. 2 pages left. And through their unreal woes and mimic pain, wept for myself and so purified, and in their simple mirth grew glad again. For as I sailed upon the pictured tide, the strength and splendor of the storm was mine, without the storm's red ruin for the strangers divine. The little laugh of water falling down, it's not so musical, the clammy gold, close hoarded in the tiny waxen town, has less of sweetness in it and the old. Half-withered reeds that wavered in Arcady, touched by lips, break forth again to fresher harmony. Spirit of beauty, tarry yet a while, although the cheating merchants of the mart with iron roads profane our lovely isle, and break on whirling wheels and the limbs of art. Though the crowded factories beget the blind worm ignorance that slays the soul, O tarry yet. Breathe. For one, at least, there is, he bears his name, from Dante and the seraph Gabriel, whose double laurels burn with deathless flame to light thine altar. He too loves the well. He talks about Dante in What book is that? It's De Profundis. Who saw old Merlin lured in Vivian's snare, and the white feet of angels coming down the golden stair. Loves thee so well that all the world for him a gorgeous colored vestiture must wear, and sorrow take a purple diadem, or else be no more sorrow and despair. Gild its own thorns and pain, like a dawn, be even in anguish, beautiful such as empery, which painters hold, and such the heritage this gentle solemn spirit doth possess, being a better mirror of his age, and in all his pity, love, and weariness. Then whose can pay the then those who can but copy common things, and leave the soul unpainted with its mighty questionings. Sorry, I'm like gone. But they are few, and all romance has flown, and men can prophesy about the sun, and lecture on his own sorrows, how alone, through a waste void, the soulless atoms run, how from each tree's weeping nymph has fled, and that no more mid-English reeds of Naiad show her head. Methinks these new Actonians boast too soon that they have spied on beauty. What if we have analyzed the rainbow, robbed the moon of her ancient chastest mystery? Shall I, the last Endymion, lose all hope? Shall I, the last Endymion, lose all hope, because rude eyes peer at my mistress through a telescope? What profit if scientific age bursts through our gates with all its retinue of modern miracles? I can assuage one lover breaking heart. What can I do? What can it do to make one's life more beautiful one day, more godlike in its period? But now the age of clay returns in its horrid cycle, and the earth hath borne again a noisy progeny of ignorant titans, whose ungodly birth hurls them against the august hierarchy, which sat upon Olympus to the dust they have appealed, and to that barren arbiter they must repair for judgment. Let them, if they can, from natural warfare and insensate chance, create the new ideal rule for man. Methinks that was not my inheritance, for I was nurtured otherwise. My soul passes from higher heights of life to a more supreme goal. Lo, while we spake, the earth did turn away her visage from the god, and Hecate's boat rose silver laden till jealous day blew all its torches out. I did not note the waning hours of young Endymions. Time's palsied fingers count in vain his rosary of suns. Mark how the yellow iris wearily leans back in its throat as though it would be kissed by its false chamberer, the dragonfly, who likes a blue vein on a girl's white wrist, sleeps on that snowy primrose of the night, which which gins to flush with crimson shame and die beneath the light. Where was I at? Here we go. Come, let us go against the pallid shield of wan sky. The almond blossoms gleam. The corn crake nested in its unmown field answers its mate across the misty stream. On fitful wing, the startled curlews fly, and in his sedgy bed, the lark, for joy that day is nigh, scatters the pearl dew from off the grass in tremulous ecstasy to greet the sun, who soon in gilded panoply will pass forth from yon orange curtained pavilion, hung in the burning east. See the red rim o'ertops the expectant hills. It is the god for love of him. Already the shrill lark is out of sight, flooding with waves of song is this silent dell. Ah, there is something more than in the bird's flight than could be tested in its crucible. But the air freshens, let us go. Why soon the woodmen will be here, how we have lived this night of June.